Cuphead is one of the hardest games ever made, and the only way to beat the game is to shoot the bosses until you defeat them. But what would you say if I told you that there is another way to beat the game without shooting? Prepare for the most difficult challenge I've ever done, Cuphead without shooting. Because of this, I'm going to use the Divine Relic and the Jimmy code. Otherwise it will be inhuman and probably impossible. I mean, even like this, it is totally inhuman. Even the pack route is difficult. The main strategy for this boss is dodge and parry everything I can, and hit the potato with the whetstone, of course. It worked, so now let's go to the onion, where I lost a lot of HP, but at least I had fun. I've never imagined that I'm going to struggle so much in the pack route level. This challenge might be a mistake for me. Even the carrot was difficult. I raised my HP every time I destroyed the mini carrot, but it doesn't matter because I won. And you know what I said about pack route? The pack route is nothing compared to Guppy Legrand. His jumps are so chaotic that I have to dash every time I hit him, because otherwise I'm going to get hit. But don't worry, because I got to his second phase, which was even worse than the first one. Now you get hit even if you dash over him. Well, not every time, but you get the point. And after a great gameplay and a few hits, I finally got to his last phase, which was the easiest one, because you don't have to dodge any jump, you just have to dash sometimes. This being said, the next boss is even more difficult, Hildaberg, because her movement is even more chaotic than Guppy's jumps, and this means that I can't use the whetstone, and I can only rely on X attacks. The main strategy for Hildaberg was to get with as much HP as possible to the last phase. I simply had no idea how to dodge the UFOs. I managed to dodge every single attack from the bull, and so I did with the Gemini attacks. I have only got hit once by a mini zeppelin, not even once by Gemini. This is a brand new personal record. I even dodged this glitch attack, and after I waited for my ultimate attack, I got to Hilda's last phase, and I got hit. Then I got hit again, and again, and again, and again, and one more time. But it doesn't matter, because I won, and it only took me 10 minutes. Seriously, 10 minutes. In real time, a few hours. But anyway, come with me to the frogs. This was the first boss battle that made me want to quit the challenge, because the Kaioken and mosquito combination is purely atrocious. Or flies, I don't know, they look like mosquitoes to me. But this combination is purely atrocious. It took me hours just to pass the first phase. But after this, I became an expert at their first phase. On their second phase though, I found a little trick. I can hit this frog with the whetstone and do a lot of damage. It is a bit risky, but it's worth it. As I finished the second phase and got to the third phase, which by the way was a patience test. The only way I could damage them in this phase was with the ultimate attack. So I waited there patiently until I could use it. And I've also found a way to hit them with the whetstone. But still the ultimate attack remained the main damage. And after one more, I beat them. And it only took me 10 minutes. Probably 5 to 6 times more than it should. But now there is only one more boss left in this world. Cagni Carnation. And he's pretty hittable with the whetstone charm. Yes, I searched it up on Google. Cagni Carnation is a boy. I mean, his first phase is the only one that is difficult, because of the little minions. The second phase has only the boomerang and the almonds. And remember what I said about the first phase? Well, the third phase has the boomerang, the almonds and the minions. What a great combination, right? Oh, and look how well the last phase went. Anyway, I got back and the only way to hit Carney is the super attack. I mean, the only way that is safe. And I hope that you like the clash that you just saw. So in order to beat Carney, I needed no more than 6 ultimate attacks. This is insane. I couldn't believe my eyes. And you can't imagine the happiness on my face when I saw the knockout sign. And with this, I finished the first world. But I still have 2 more to go. And the first boss that I'll encounter in the second world is Bonibel Bubblegum. But until I get to Baroness von Bonbon, I have to fight her minions. The gum machine that I couldn't believe how tanky is. The boss that was pretty easy and was convenient even like this. And the purest form of evil, the Muffin. This Muffin is worse than everything I fought until now. Its movement is even more chaotic than Guppy's, but somehow I beat all of them. And now I only have to fight Baroness von Bonbon. The fight was extremely intense for me, especially on the last phase. But I activated my Ultra Instinct, dodged everything, and in the end, after a lot of X attacks, I won. You have no idea how relieved I felt from the pressure. especially after spending 2 to 3 hours to beat Baroness von Bonbon. Jimmy, on the other hand, is my favorite boss in this challenge. Not gonna lie, I'll do it again. I parried every single dagger for the first phase until I got my full hearts, and then used this glitch. The second phase wasn't that funny though. I messed up sometimes, but in the end everything was good. But for the third phase, look at this glitch. I'm behind the sarcophagus and I use my whetstone to damage him. I could have been hit though if phantoms spawned on me, but it didn't happen. And this because I followed Jimmy. The puppet phase was pretty brutal though. I lost a lot of HP there. And the last phase was easier than it is normally. Jimmy the Great, 10 out of 10, I will do it again. The best experience in this challenge, try it yourself. Beppy the Clown on the other hand was extremely risky to hit with a Whetstone charm, because he was moving extremely chaotic, like Hildeberg. So the main damage was the X attack. His second phase was pretty difficult and I got hit a few times, but I did it in the end. And pretty fast, I'd say. The third phase would have been completely inhuman if I didn't have the Smoke Bomb charm. In the Divine Relic, I mean. It was no way for me to hit him with the Whetstone charm, so the only way I could do it was the X attack. Beppy was an emotional roller coaster, especially on his last phase, you know, because he's a carousel now. Anyway, the only difficult thing about this one were the penguins, but they got destroyed by the carousel. So Beppy the Clown failed, and follow along to the next boss, the bird. The only boss I finished in my first attempt. Exactly like Hilda, I couldn't use my Whetstone charm, because I'll have been hit. So I waited patiently for my ultimate attack. Boring stuff. But on the second phase, things were different. I parried every single gunshot in order to get my ultimate attack and get to the third phase as fast as possible. The bird was actually pretty easy. Probably that's why I completed this boss in the first try. But the next one was again inhuman. Grimace the Chopsticks. I wanted to do it with Miss Chalice until I realized that on second phase you don't have anything to parry, so this would have made the run impossible. As I said, like this is just inhuman, not impossible. And I found a little trick for the second phase. You can actually see the direction where the fire jumps to. Just look at the direction they're facing. But even with this trick, I got hit 3 times. But do you think that those are difficult? No. Look at the last phase, purely brutal. You can only damage the dragon when he does the fire thrower attack, and you want to do it with the ultimate attack or with your X attack. Luckily for me, I got the Lobe Shooter X, which does a lot of damage. And after getting hit once because of a bug, then another time because of another bug, and the third time because I'm dumb. In the end, I won, and it only took me 15 minutes. At least the bee was faster to beat. I got my full HP in the first phase, and then in the second phase I had no strategy, just dodge things and parry. The only time I could hit the bee queen with the Whetstone charm was when she was spitting rockets. The main damage was the X attack, and it worked pretty well. And contrary to my expectations, I was able to hit her with the Whetstone charm in the plain mode. It was extremely risky, but I won in the end, so who cares? And it only took me almost 6 minutes. Now let's go to the pirate, who was one of the easiest bosses. I had a lot of things to parry and not so many things to dodge, just the barrel. But nothing is too powerful for the Smoke Bomb charm, at least in this level. Oh, and the pirate was impossible to hit with the Whetstone charm. I tried. So I did all the damage with X attacks. And dodged the laser attack of the last phase by sneaking down. I think that this is the only way you could dodge it. Oh, and did all the damage with X attacks. It was too risky to try with the Whetstone charm, so I didn't. And I finished the boss in just 8 minutes. So let's go on to the next boss, Tom and Jerry. I did a lot of damage in the first phase with my X attack, and so I did with the Whetstone charm. I parried every single thing I could in the first phase so I get my full HP, because in the second phase you don't have what to dodge, and in the third phase actually you do, contrary to what I previously thought. Anyway, I tried to keep as much HP as possible because I was sure that I'm going to get hit in the second phase. Oh, and I did. That one was the only difficult part about this boss. And in the third phase, I have no idea, I probably activated my Ultra Instinct, and I damaged the boss with both X attacks and Whetstone charm. But here it comes one of the most difficult bosses in this challenge, that took me 4 hours. Calamaria. The fourth phase of Calamaria is extremely difficult and long. I have no idea how I did it so many times, because I died a lot in the second and the third phase. I parried everything I could in the first phase, because I had a strategy for the second phase. The strategy was to stay in this corner and wait for my ultimate attack. Lame, I know, but it worked. I don't think it would have been possible otherwise, at least for me. And after 3 to 4 ultimate attacks, I got to her last phase, which was only possible because of you, Gengar animations. I had no idea that I could hit Calamaria's head if I stay close to it without taking damage. It was a painful process, but in the end I finished Calamaria, and then went to the boss that I was the most afraid of, the robot, which was actually not that hard. Don't get me wrong, it was extremely difficult, but it wasn't that difficult compared to Calamaria, especially because of my strategy. Take down the antenna as fast as possible, and then use the ultimate attack between the two gates, and then use the Western Charm on the heart. Do it without caring about the damage you take, otherwise you're going to take even more damage. I know because I tried. And then on the second phase I used the ultimate attack and some X attacks. But the third phase was totally atrocious and brutal. At least I had a lot of things to parry, otherwise I'll have quit the challenge. Well, not really because I got too far, but you get the point. It took 5 ultimate attacks to get the robot down, the doctor I mean. Perhaps I really have Ultra Instinct, because I did pretty much the whole phase 3 with just 1 HP. And after this atrocity that took me 10 minutes, let's move on to something easier, the Crazy Actress. The only thing difficult about this boss is the second phase. Is that baby throwing the baby bottle following me or not? I don't get it, because sometimes it feels like it is random, but then he spawns exactly where you are. I don't get it, and I don't even care anymore. Because I got to her third phase, which was my favorite one about this boss, because she's not moving. So I was able to take her down with the Western Charm. And the last phase was extremely easy because of the Smoke Bomb Charm. This being said, let's move on to the boss that made me want to quit the challenge at this point. The Phantom Express. The first phase was atrocious, brutal, and everything that you want me to say. It was horrible. I tried everything, but nothing worked. So I went on YouTube and found out someone who did it only with the Western Charm and Smoke Bomb Charm, because he used the Divine Reality. But then a video showed up, and it has the exact title that I wanted to use for this video. Tier. But anyway, thank you Schneididan for the phase 1 strategy. I got hit a few times in the second phase, but nothing to worry about, and then got hit again in the third phase. And now we have what to worry about. I have no HP, basically. And believe it or not, but the last phase was the easiest one. I waited there and this platform until I got my ultimate attack, and I used it 3 times in order to beat the train. With this I finally got to the last 2 bosses of this game. I'll obviously start with King Dice. I found a little trick for this boss. If you wait there patiently, you can fill up completely your ultimate attack, and of course use it on whatever boss you want. In my case, the boss is where you get a heart from. Or at least I tried. I can't believe how tanky the bunny was. I hit him so many times with ultimate attacks and X attacks that I thought the game glitched, and the last one was the 8-ball pull, which was extremely easy. I think that it is easier like this than it is normally. The real problem was with Dice, because I'm bad at parrying. I don't know how I parried the car so many times, but I did it and beat Dice, and it was actually on my second try. It only took me 17 minutes. I've waited for so long to say this. So, prepare for the last boss in this game, the Devil, who was a monstrosity to fight like this, especially on the second, third and fourth phase. The first one was pretty decent. The whole strategy was dodge, parry, dodge, parry, dodge, parry. And it worked pretty well, I'd say, because I beat it with 8 hearts left. Oh, and trust me, I needed every single one of those. Because the second phase was horrible, I had to dodge 1001 things and parry another 100, which was pretty difficult because of the Western Charm. Instead of parrying, I was accidentally hitting the boss. Remember what I said about the second phase? It was easy. But the third one was purely atrocious, with so many minions, skulls and everything to dodge and parry. I beat his third phase with the ultimate attack and some Western Charm hits, and I can't believe that I only got hit 2 times there. Luckily for me, because I was so bad in the last phase. Just look at how bad I played. The only way to damage him was with the ultimate attack and with X attacks, of course, but I couldn't do it with the Western Charm, because it was too risky. But finally, after days of recording, in the end I did it and completed the most difficult challenge I've ever done. I'm Rain, and until next time, thanks for watching.